Hey guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And it is such a beautiful day outside. I was sitting outside, I was reading my meditations and just kind of relaxing and stuff. And the one meditation I did not read is from Melody Beattie's Journey to the Heart. And I scanned over the title of it and I thought, I want to share this on here. I want to read it on here. I think it's a really good meditation, and it was kind of different than all of the other ones that I had. All of my meditations today were great. I was sharing this the other day. It's like, I will either read, 5 books and I don't relate to any of them, or I read 5 books and I relate to everything that they say. So today it was like I related to everything. I don't know, it was like the universe was aligned or something. So today is May 23rd, and I am reading Trust That Guidance Will Come. Trust and act on the guidance you have now. Some parts of our lives appear like a long paved highway. We can see exactly where to go. We have a panoramic view. Other times, it may feel like we're driving in the dark with only one headlight on a winding road through the fog. We can only see a few feet in front of the car. Don't worry if you can't see that far ahead, if you only have a glimmer of light to guide your path. Slow down. Listen to your heart. Guidance will come. Trust what you hear. Do the small thing. Take that one step. Go as far as you can see. Then go back to your heart and you'll hear the next step. It may be, that's right, Boo Radley. It may be a step of immediate action or deliberate inaction. Sometimes you may have to quiet down, wait, and prepare yourself to hear what you're to do next. Trust and act on the guidance you have now, and more will come. This is why I think it's a fantastic meditation, is because I think many times in our lives, we, don't really know what to do next. It's like, we've gone through a breakup, or we want to leave a job, or we want to change careers completely, or we have a situation, an argument with a family member, or we just don't really know what to do. It's like we feel just really stuck in life. I get so many messages, so many emails from people, and they're like, I don't know what to do next. Like, I feel stuck, I went to high school, I went to college, I got the job, I got married, and now I'm divorced, I'm happy in my job, I don't know what to do now. Or I get a lot of messages from people that will say, I'm in college and I'm about to graduate with a degree that I shouldn't be getting anyway because I have no interest in this field. I don't know what to do. Or a lot of people that will say, I've worked the same job for 30 years. I always wanted to be an actress in Broadway or something like that. I don't know what to do, right? One of the first things I will tell anybody out there is, do not quit your job before you have another one. We have to pay the bills, okay? I would love to live in a world where we just drove around and there were people painting on the side of the roads and doing, theater out in every park that was available and, just singing as, what I mean? Like, I would just love to live in that kind of Renaissance world. But the reality is we have to pay our bills, okay? That is really a reality, that we have to pay our bills. Now, I have had many friends in my life, many friends, that have drastically downsized their living, their house, their car. They had a $500,000 house, and now they live in a condo that's $100,000, $130,000, and they've gotten a car that they didn't, they had a Mercedes, and I'm just kind of making this up as I go, but this is a lot of my friends. And they had a Mercedes or a Porsche, and they got rid of it, and now they drive something, very economical. And they've just really downsized their life because they want to travel more. Or they want to pursue things that really mean something to them, instead of just having this job or having this career that will pay for this life that they have, I get asked a lot. People are like, oh, are you retired? Are you retired? No, I'm not retired. I have things that I do on the side with my husband, all that kind of stuff. But it was a plan of mine very early on. Like, I would say somewhere in my mid-20s when I was working in a treatment facility, that by a certain age, I wanted to be semi-retired. Because I knew, I had seen, all of my role models were people that, yes, loved what they did, but were very driven. They were working 10, 12-hour days. My father was like that. There were points in my mother's life where she was like that. My aunt was like that. Everybody that I knew lived these lives where they were very consumed with their careers. And as much as I loved my career, I wanted to give it everything that I had for a period of time. And then I wanted to do something that was for me, Not that my career wasn't, because I loved it, but that at the same time, I had all these interests. I wanted to write a book. I didn't know, YouTube didn't exist at that time, so I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do. But I knew that I had some creative ventures. I wanted to travel a lot. And I didn't want to worry about finances. That was the one thing that was, at the top of my thing. I didn't care how I lived. I didn't want to worry about finances. And we have a small condo. Our condo is not big by any means, but I love my condo. It's perfect for us, We have a full basement. We have a pool down the street, We have neighbors that are by average, pretty nice, you know what I mean? And it's perfectly located. I'm 10 minutes from the north side. We're 10 minutes from downtown. It's exactly where I want to be. And, you know, like, I couldn't be happier. It allows us to travel and whatever. So I think in life, you have to look at the guidance that you're seeking. And I often, you know, like when I'm stuck in a situation, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do next. First of all, I have to look at what I am given at that moment. Like, am I content in the life that I have? Because sometimes it's easy to always look at the next thing, you know, like, well, what's the next trip that I'm taking? Or I want this house, or oh, I want this car, and whatever. And I don't by any means am saying that you can't have nice things. I have some very nice things. I like some nice things, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want to become consumed with that, because I think in the long run, that's not really what is best for my life or what I'm really seeking. I really don't, you know? But we each have to decide what is best for us. And, you know, and many times in my life, every week, there's some situation where I'm like, I don't really know how to handle this. In the past, and I think this is a lot of what it's talking about, I was very reactionary, you know? And I would like, something would happen, it's like somebody hits your arm, you go, ouch, and you hit them back, right? I was very reactionary. I'm using that as an analogy. I'm not a physically violent person. But, you know, in the past, I was very reactionary. Today, somebody hits me in the arm, I go, ouch, and I kind of sit back, and I think about it for a day or two, and then I come back to that person, I'm like, hey, listen, you know, like, it really didn't make me very happy when you hit me in the arm. I don't know why you feel like it's okay to treat me that way, you know, things like that. I'm more responsive today, but it's been something that I've really, really had to work on. It didn't come just overnight. You know, there's a recovery saying, and it's restraint of pen and tongue. And what that means is that, you know, before you react verbally or in the form of writing, you know, you sit back and you restrain. And you really think it through. You really think about, is this really what I want to say? Is this really what I want to put out in the world? Because once I put it out there, I can't take it back, right? And, you know, I think a lot about that today. I didn't in the past. I was very, very reactionary, and I don't want to be that person today. You know, when I'm reactionary, things don't necessarily turn out the way that I want them to turn out. So it's really important for me today to really sit back and have restraint of pen and tongue, to pray on things. You know, for me, like, for 20 some years, I have had, you know, people in recovery, my sponsors, say to me, you know, pray on it, sleep on it. And I used to hate that back in the day. I'd be like, that's what, I want action. Like, what should I do? Well, sometimes, okay, action is praying on it. Action is, if you don't have any kind of higher power or spiritual beliefs, action is thinking it through. Action is restraint of pen and tongue. Where you sit on your patio or wherever, and you just really think through, well, you know, like, what is the best thing for me in this situation? Well, like I said, I think most of us know deep down what is best for us, you know? But often, I think we're so stuck in this idea of, you know, like, I want my life to look like this. And I do think it's often a comparison study. I really, really do. You know, that I say on here a lot because my friend taught me this, that you always lose by comparison. If you're comparing your life to somebody else, you're always going to lose, okay? You're never going to have exactly what they have. You're never going to, you know, do y'all do this on Instagram? You see somebody and it's like they're living their best life and they're on a beach in Tahiti or something. You're like, why can't my life look like that? It's a picture, okay? Let's pull in the reins a little bit. It's a picture on Instagram. We have no idea what their life looks like behind the scenes, okay? We don't know that maybe they're only there for 24 hours. We don't know how they got there. We don't know if they're happy. I know a lot of people that travel to some extravagant places, drive extravagant cars, have the homes you would dream of in your life and the opportunities, and they're some of the most miserable people that I've ever met in my entire life. I don't want that life. I just don't, okay? I would rather have a lot less and have a lot less opportunities and be happy and be content and have peace and serenity in my life than to have all of that and be miserable and ungrateful. You know, gratitude for me is the action. I mean, gratitude is the action for me. You know, practicing gratitude, being grateful is the biggest action I can take in any situation when I look at life and I look at guidance, you know? When I'm trying to figure out a situation and I'm like sitting in it and I'm like, I don't really know what to do. You know, today, guidance always comes, but it doesn't necessarily come in the way that I want to hear it, you know? It'll be my best friend, my husband, my sponsor telling me something, and sometimes it's not what I want to hear, you know? Like I say a lot, you know, a real friend is somebody that will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Sometimes my friends say things to me, like I can't remember what it was about. It was something that has nothing to do with any kind of YouTube or anything like that. But my good Judy Tanya and I were talking the other night, and she goes, I know you don't want to hear this, but, and I was like, no, I really don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? But she was right. And I said to her, I said, you know what, Tanya, just because I'm not super receptive to it at that moment doesn't mean that a half an hour after I dropped you off, I'm driving around and I'm like processing it in my head. And that's really where I find the guidance, is in the afterthought. You know, I don't just like, she doesn't say things to me and I go, oh my God, you're right. Like, I'm a normal person too, just like the rest of you, you know? My friends, my husband, my sponsor, people in my life, my counselor, they say things to me that at the time, I'm like, I don't really want to hear this, okay? Like, yes, I know it's probably what's best for me, but I don't want to hear it. So I have to kind of process it. I have to kind of think on it. I have to kind of pray on it and think, okay, what is best? And usually I wake up and what's interesting is that I'm so blessed that the people around me care so much about me that they tell me what I need to hear. And so even though I'm a little resistant to it at the time, I wake up the next day and I'm like, okay, like I can hear it now, if that makes sense. So I don't know, it's tough, you know, it's what is it you're looking for, you know? Are you looking to have the life that you want? Then sit back and allow the guidance to come in. Sit back and allow the next step to happen, you know? And I also think that often when we detach from the situation that we're looking at, you know, there is no emergency that we have to make. Well, I mean, there are some things, you know, medical emergencies and things like that. But I'm talking about like where the direction you want your life to go, what you want your life to look like, things like that. There is no emergency, okay? If you are in an unhappy job, in an unhappy relationship, whatever, you can say, okay, I'm gonna give this 3 months. If in 3 months I have put everything into this job, everything into this relationship, or 6 months, or a year, or 10 years, whatever, and I put everything into this that I wanted. This was a little trick somebody taught me back in the day, and it's a valuable trick. If I set this time limit for myself, and I put everything I have into it, into improving it, and 3 months down the road, or a year, or 2 years, or whatever, I'm sitting there, and I still feel the way that I feel today, it's time for me to move on. It's time for me to go because I'm not gonna get what I want. And I think it's a really valuable lesson. For me, that's somewhere where I go for guidance, you know? And sometimes I don't tell anybody in my life. You know, I'll say, okay, I'm gonna set this limit, and if by such and such date things haven't changed, then it's time for me to try something different. Because I am a believer that if what you're doing isn't working, try something different. Within yourself, you know, I really, really believe that. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you stuck? Do you feel stuck in life? One of the things is writing. Writing gets me out of that so much. And I don't mean like creative writing. I mean like writing down a list of what I would want for my life. What would my life look like? Make a list, you know, of 10 things. Well, I'd have this, I'd have that, I'd have this, or I'd live here, or I'd travel more, or, you know, whatever, I'd be more social, or whatever. Because that is one of the things on there, is the more social I am, the happier I am sometimes. And that's where I struggle a lot, because it's easy for me to isolate and just be at my home with my dogs and my husband and my best friend. But when I am more social, I'm a lot happier. So I have to be real honest with myself too about what that list would look like. And then I have to say, okay, and then the guidance sometimes comes in the form that I don't want it to. Like the next day I'm invited to a wedding and I'm like, I do not want to go to this wedding, right? But I have to go because that's what I asked for. That's what I asked for. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.